McKinnon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you another Indie Connection. Today I'd like to tell you about some indie books that you might enjoy if you're a fan of One Day in December by Josie Silver. The first book I have for you is called The Night We First Met by Claire Swatman. One night in December, Marianne Cooper is running away from a party. Having found her boyfriend in a passionate clinch with someone else, she can't get away fast enough. That same night, 22-year-old Ted Green is trying to make the hardest decision of his life. What he really needs is someone he can confide in. When Marianne meets Ted, with the lights of London shining around them, the night becomes one they'll never forget. Because this night might just be the start of a love story to last them a lifetime. But as Ted watches Marianne leave in a black taxi, all he can think is he should have asked for her name and phone number. In a story spanning 20 years, join Ted and Marianne as they navigate life's twists and turns, joys and heartbreaks, while all the time wondering, will fate ever bring them together again? The second book I have for you is called Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. She's meant to be catching flights, not catching feelings. Molly and Andrew are just trying to get home to Ireland for the holidays when a freak snowstorm grounds their flight. Nothing romantic has ever happened between them. They're friends, and that's all. But once a year for the last 10 years, Molly has spent 7 hours and 15 minutes sitting next to Andrew on the last flight before Christmas from Chicago to Dublin, drinking terrible airplane wine and catching up on each other's lives. In spite of all the ways the two friends are different, it's the holiday tradition neither of them has ever wanted to give up. Molly isn't that bothered by Christmas, but in yet another way they're total opposites, Andrew is a full-on fanatic for the festive season, and she knows how much getting back to Ireland means to him. So instead of doing the same thing and just celebrating the holidays together in America, she does the stupid thing, the irrational thing. She vows to get him home, and in time for his mam's favorite Christmas dinner. The clock is ticking, but Molly always has a plan. And as long as the highly specific combination of taxis, planes, boats, and trains all run on time, it can't possibly go wrong. What she doesn't know is that as the snow falls over the city and over the heads of two friends who are sure they're not meant to be together, the universe might just have a plan of its own. The third book I have for you is called Ruby Red Christmas by Nicole Taylor Abbey. 'Tis the season for midlife love. Ruby Ward is ready for her happily ever after, and when her ex-husband invites her for lunch at the restaurant where he proposed, it can only mean one thing. He has realized his mistake and wants her back. She is more than willing to have him. Instead, he announces he is marrying her younger and sexier neighbor next week, which would be devastating enough, but the honeymoon is in Mexico during the holidays, and he is taking their son. On the verge of spending Christmas alone, she agrees to a girlfriend's getaway in the remote seaside village of Christmas Cove. Without her family and heartbroken over her ex-husband's impending nuptials, Ruby is relieved to find the rented cabin is perched on a cliff far away from the overly Christmassy vibe of Christmas Cove to let her forget what season it is. It is perfect, except for Simon Ascot staying at the cabin next door, with a habit of turning up whenever she is at her hot mess best. But when Simon turns out to be just as sweet as he is gorgeous, Ruby finds herself on the brink of a holiday romance. That is, until the arrival of a pregnant ex threatens everything. And the last book I have for you is called Coffee Shop Christmas by Samantha Calcott. Sometimes home is where the Christmas tree is. Marissa left the small town of Winter Creek, Illinois when she was 18 and never looked back except to visit her father every Christmas. She's now a star editor at a publishing company in Chicago, and her life is looking up, until her father has an accident and she winds up stranded back in Winter Creek. Cody's next in line to take over Sparky's Cafe in Winter Creek, but he always dreamed of seeing the city, doing something more with his life. When he meets Marissa, she's everything he dreamed of, city resident and all. But he can't abandon his family, even as he falls for her more and more. But Marissa doesn't plan on staying in Winter Creek after Christmas, and both of them must make a choice. Follow their dreams or their hearts. Or are they the same thing? Okay, that's all for me this week. I'll see you next week on the Indie Connection. Bye!